Listen, I want you to hear me out today. Life will bring you up and life will bring you down, but it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how you get back up. It's about how you hold your head high when the world around you might want to see you low. It's about knowing your worth, your value, and never ever letting the circumstances, the people, or the doubts tell you otherwise. Today I want to talk about something that's been on my heart for a long time, a lesson I've learned through struggle, through failure, through success, and through life itself. It's this: sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to just step back, let people miss you, and watch your value rise. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean by that? It's simple. Life is about timing. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to step back. So often we're in such a rush to be everywhere, to be seen, to be part of the crowd. But here's the thing: when you're constantly available, when you're always there, when you're always showing up for everyone else and forgetting to show up for yourself, you lose your value. The key is in the moments when you're absent, when you pull away, when you let people realize just how important you really are. People take you for granted when you're always around. They get used to your presence, and they stop seeing it as something precious. It's like having a light that's always on in a room. It becomes so constant, so familiar, that you forget what it's like when the light's gone. Truth is, we can't afford to be that light that's always on. There are moments when you need to turn the switch off. There are times when you need to leave the room, walk away, and let the darkness fall for a while. But here's the catch: the moment you leave, the moment you step away, is the moment they realized how much you were giving, how much you were contributing, how much you meant. The absence creates the space for your value to be felt. It's in your absence that your presence is truly appreciated. When you're constantly showing up, you're giving people no time to miss you. You're giving them no space to feel the impact of your energy, your skills, your time. And trust me, they need that space. You need that space. I've learned this the hard way. There was a time in my life when I was trying to be everywhere, trying to do everything, trying to please everyone. I thought that the more I gave, the more I would receive. But you know what happens when you keep giving without stopping? People stop valuing what you're offering. You lose yourself in the process. You start to wonder why your efforts aren't being reciprocated the way you expected. You start to question your worth because you're giving so much of yourself and not getting back what you deserved. But here's the revelation I want to share with you today. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop seeking validation from the outside world, the moment you allow yourself to take a step back, that's when things start to change. That's when people start to see you for who you truly are. That's when your value starts to rise. And let me tell you something: when you realize this, you become unstoppable. Because now you're operating from a place of power. Now you're not just a part of the crowd, you are the one who makes the crowd move. And when you walk away, they'll feel it. See, so many of us are afraid of being forgotten. We're afraid of being left out. We're afraid of people not appreciating what we do for them. But here's the truth: people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. That's the painful reality we often have to face. And I'm not talking about playing games or trying to manipulate people. I'm talking about understanding your worth so deeply that you don't need to force it on anyone. You don't need to remind anyone of how much you mean. The moment you step back, the moment you allow them the space to feel your absence, they will realize the gift they were given. There's power in letting go. There's power in knowing that the people who truly value you will make the effort to seek you out. Those who truly appreciate what you bring to the table will come looking for you. And when they do, you'll have the chance to decide if you want to give them another piece of yourself. But don't ever forget that your value doesn't come from how much you give, how much you do, or how much you are available. Your value comes from who you are and what you bring into any room, whether you're there or not. I want you to understand something. Your time, your energy, your presence is a gift. It's something precious. It's not something that should be given away carelessly or without thought. When you're constantly available, when you're constantly giving without boundaries, you're diminishing the value of what you offer. You have to hold some things back for yourself. You have to know when to say, I'm not available today. I need to focus on me. And in that space, you'll find your power. So the next time you feel yourself chasing after someone's attention, trying to force them to see your worth, remember this. Just step back. Let them miss you. Let them feel the void when you're not around. Let them realize what they've lost by not appreciating you in the first place. And when they do, your value will rise. You'll stop being just another person in their life. You'll become the one they can't live without. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and cut people off or become distant for the sake of being dramatic. What I am saying is that your value should never depend on the constant approval of others. You don't need to be around all the time to prove who you are. Your worth is intrinsic. It's something that lives inside you, something that can't be taken away. But you've got to protect it. You've got to understand that sometimes stepping back is the most powerful thing you can do. When you give people space to miss you, when you give yourself space to grow, that's when your value truly rises. Let me leave you with this. Your absence creates space for your worth to be recognized. Don't be afraid to step back and let the world see what life is like without you. When they realize how much they need you, when they realize how much they miss you, they'll start to see your value in a way they never did before. And when that happens, you'll know that you've finally taken control. You'll know that you finally learned the most powerful lesson of all, that sometimes you have to step away to make them come running. And when they do, your value will be greater than ever before. You're not defined by how many people want you around. You're defined by how much your absence impacts them. So don't be afraid to walk away, to pull back, to let them miss you. Because when they do, you'll see your value rise higher than ever. Trust me, your worth doesn't come from being everywhere. It comes from being unforgettable. And that, my friends, is the power of letting them miss you. The true power of your worth is not in being constantly available, nor in seeking validation from others. It lies in understanding your value and recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step back. When you allow space both for yourself and for others, you create an opportunity for them to realize what you bring into their lives. You allow them to experience your absence, and in that absence, your presence becomes more appreciated. You see, when you're always there, when you're constantly at someone's beck and call, your work becomes something that is taken for granted. It's not until you step back and give them the room to feel what's missing that they understand the true value of what you offer. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about recognizing the importance of maintaining boundaries and self-respect. You don't need to be everything to everyone all the time. The constant pressure to be present, to be seen, to be needed can wear you down. In that process, you start losing touch with your own worth. People won't appreciate the light you bring into their lives if that light never has a moment to be missed. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop trying to be everywhere and do everything for others, you free yourself from the need for constant validation. You begin to realize that your worth isn't dependent on being available to everyone. Your worth is inherent, and it's not something that can be diminished by how often you're seen or needed. It's in the moments when you step away, when you choose to give yourself the time and space that you truly see your own value rise. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or cutting people off without reason. What it means is understanding that your time, energy, and presence are valuable, and they deserve to be respected. When you make the decision to pull back, to give people room to realize your importance, you're not making yourself less available, you're making yourself more irreplaceable. The absence of your presence will make them realize just how much you contribute to their lives. And in that realization, your value skyrockets. This is how you regain control over your life. When you're always present, always giving, you lose the opportunity to let others see the impact you truly make. People take for granted what they can always count on. But when you take a step back, when you allow them to feel the void, they realize how much you matter. They realize how much they miss you. And that's when your value increases. You are not defined by how many people want you around, nor by how much of yourself you give away. You are defined by the strength of your presence, the depth of your character, and the impact you leave on others. You are defined by your ability to recognize your worth and protect it. By stepping back, by giving space, you allow others to come to understand just how irreplaceable you truly are. It's not about being everywhere or constantly in demand. It's about becoming so integral to people's lives that when you do step away, they can't help but notice. It's about being unforgettable. Because when you step back, when you let them miss you, you're showing them just how valuable you really are. And that's when your worth will rise. So never be afraid to step away, to create the space for others to appreciate what you bring into their lives. It's in your absence that your presence becomes undeniable. Your worth doesn't come from how much you give, but from how much they realize they need you. Remember, there's strength in stepping back. There's power in creating that space for them to miss you. When you allow that space to exist, you will see your value soar. They'll realize that they can't take you for granted anymore. And in that realization, your worth becomes undeniable. And when they come looking for you, you'll be ready not because you're desperate to be needed, but because you've recognized your worth and allowed them the chance to see it too. You are irreplaceable, and when they miss you, they'll know it. Your value will rise. And that, my friends, is the secret power of letting them miss you.